Today's topic, we are talking about belts. Should I get one? When should I get one? What one should I get? Let's talk about it. I'm Carl Ragavan, Europe's original starting strength coach. This is Beautiful Strength. Let's get into the show. When should I get a belt? Man, this question comes up so often. It is yesterday. So there's a couple of reasons why you definitely want to get a belt. So for me, it's about bracing that intrathoracic trunk of you. Being braced through your stomach is really important for barbell training. A belt really helps cue and coach you to be more mindful of bracing, and everyone should get one. Again, price points vary. If you have a bigger budget or a smaller budget, depends on where you're going to shop. And again, it's all about preference. Everyone's got their own little things. So sometimes you may want to try, give it a little bit, and then see if you like it, because some designs are very different. What we call a single prong, the prong right there, this kind of looks more like a regular belt, but it's obviously a lot fucking bigger, right? And then we have a Velcro belt, right? The funny thing is, people always like to say things about their equipment, and I've squatted over 600 pounds in this flimsy belt because I travel a lot. And in that year, I decided not to have a belt. I actually didn't have this belt at the time. I was thinking of trying to pack light. And after squatting 606, 275 kilos, right, I was like, well, do you know what? This belt has done me well. The only downsides with a belt like this is Velcro. And again, I've had several Velcro belts. This right here, over time, starts to wear out. So the last thing you want to do is put it on, right? And again, placing it, this is another thing about belts, is you kind of want it to be in a place where it's snug. It's between your ribs and your ASIS, the top of your hip, that space. So I've had belts in the past which are Velcro, where when you brace and you're going down in a squat, because the Velcro wears out, that happens. So that's another reason why you don't always want to rely on this. It is great when you're traveling because it's super light and you probably won't get any issues at customs. Sometimes, for whatever reason, a single prong, if you have it on your carry-on luggage, they see obviously like this thing, right? The actual prong, and on scanners, that looks dangerous to them. Again, I don't know why, right? Those kind of people are paranoid about these on scanners, but it looks dangerous. Obviously, it's not. You can travel with these. If you are going to travel on a carry-on, I would suggest taking this out so they know, so you don't have to deal with being pulled over and stuff with that stuff. Obviously, this is a lot thicker. So there's a couple of reasons why you would take this belt over the Velcro belt. So for me, this is so much more stiff and more firm. And then also when we actually have to use the belt, right? I usually pry myself onto a squat rack. So this is going nowhere. This prong here is right in the hole. So it's definitely not going to slip. So I know I have complete trust in this belt. Also, the fact that it's a 3-inch, right? Because again, like I've already said, your lowest rib and your ASIS, that is the gap that your belt needs to fit. So if you normally buy a 4-inch belt, inches being how long it is this way. So for a 4-inch belt, very commonly, and again, for clients who've had this happen to them or lifters, if this is a 4-inch belt, sometimes what happens is as you're squatting down, your lowest rib can compress against the belt and you can pop a rib. And the problem with that is popping a rib, you can't really treat it. You just have to let it heal. So I always opt for a 3-inch belt. Anything less is kind of a bit of an exception not the rule. Most people will do fine with a 3-inch belt. Like I said already, this is a prong belt, right? There is such thing as a 2-prong, which I find stupid. You just need 1 prong that is more than secure. Also, if you're really, really tired after a heavy set of squats or deadlifts, you don't want to have to fanny around with undoing 2 of these. You just want to do 1. There is another type of belt called a lever belt, which is commonly used by powerlifters. So it's a big metal clasp that clicks in. And again, I've used one of those several, that was one of my original belts, was like a leather belt. It's fine. The issue is if you lose weight or gain weight, you have to actually get a screwdriver and manually move the belt clasp to different spaces. Yes, over the years, different companies like SPD and companies that have copied them have made the clasp movable, so it moves more like a single prong does, where you can just go in between all these holes. So again, that is a new design. That is another option. It's fine. Usually those belts are a lot more money. And also the other thing is that buckle is very thick. So when you're in the deadlift position or bent over, that clasp is a lot more girth. So for different reasons, it can kind of interfere with your deadlift. If you actually wanted to like use it for other lifts, it's a little bit more restrictive. So me personally, again, I've used a lot of different belts, and for me, I'm old school. I go with the 3-inch single prong. This is a Buffalo belt from Dominion, and I don't always need this. I do the Olympic lifts. Sometimes it helps for a clean and jerk. I've clean and jerked in this belt as well, so that can happen. For the snatch, you know, the problem is when you deadlift, when you pull the bar close to your shirt, even with a low profile belt like this, you can still clip the belt. So on a snatch, most of the time you're pretty much going to have to do it beltless. You could maybe do overhead squats with this kind of belt, but I would even use a more sturdy belt if I was really trying to go heavy. So I personally think there is a lot more utility to a 3-inch belt. So to me, that's usually the one you should get. But like I said already, for travel reasons and for budget, obviously a Velcro belt is so much cheaper. If you're just starting out and you just want to get something, a Velcro is better than nothing. Companies like Strength Shop have very affordable belts which are single prong or 3-inch belts. You've got companies like Clickers, they do single prong or 3-inch belts, and also Mobility Tools. So you've got those kind of UK brands as well. So if you like that show, comment, like, share, subscribe. You know the business. I'm Kyle Ragavan. That was Beautiful Strength. And remember, the barbell never lies.